What it do? What it do, y'all? We got a crazy Super Wild Card weekend ahead of us. I think the first game is at what 4:30. I think there's two games right on the slate.
Yeah.
I think the 4:30 game and then the AFC South Jaguars and Chargers. And then we got we have the Seahawks, 49ers, Giants, Vikings, then Ravens, Bengals. So yeah, let's start off with today's games, man. So we have the first game on the dock. Pull up my app. Oh, actually, Seahawks play today. My bad. Seahawks play 4:30, and then
Niners. Yeah.
Niners play at or the Chargers play at 8:15. So yeah, so this first game, you know what I'm saying? Seahawks got in because basically the Packers lost against the Detroit Lions. If the Packers would have won, they wouldn't have made the playoffs, right? The Seahawks.
Right. Yep. And that's what makes what Campbell did with the Lions that much better, because they knew they were eliminated already, but they still went into that game and played like they still had a chance at the playoffs. So give them a lot of credit.
Right. I think during halftime, one of the reporters asked Dan Campbell, like, what are your plans on in the second half? He was like, just stopping the Packers. I mean, and that's what they did. Really, I mean, I know that costly, that stupid ass like penalty by Quay Walker. He pushed the he pushed the trainer. That's very costly. Apparently, he did that. That was he did it against the Bills, I think. And then he did it.
I
again.
forgot it was the same guy. So it was so stupid. And then when they showed him in the tunnel, like he was so upset, it's like, right, you did it. Nobody forced you to do it.
Well, at first I thought he hit a. Even though like I thought it was a player he touched, but it was a trainer. But even though if a player's has his back turned, like you don't push him. And then I think the lineman touched the trainer too. Like I don't think they caught that. Like I think Quay bumped into him, and the lineman bumped into him too, like back to back. So, but either way, Packers are not in the playoffs. Now, I mean, the question is, where does Aaron Rodgers go from here? I heard many things that he can go to the Raiders for a Niners, or he could retire. I know one of the players wanted to have a jersey swap, but he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna hold on to this one real tight." So
it was all drama. That's what all that was. Aaron Rodgers was. It was just extra. He knew the camera was there. He knew the microphone was on. So yeah. Oh, I need to keep this one. Okay, right. Cool. And then walking off, he waited for Randall Cobb to get next to him, and they were walking off together. Then you see him look at the big board, see he's on the big board, and then he's like patting Randall Cobb on the head. I was like, come on, man. Then it follows him down the tunnel. Oh, Aaron Rodgers. I'm over the whole offseason dramatics with him. Like, if you're going to retire, then just go ahead and retire. I don't need a whole offseason like, will they trade him? Should he leave? I don't care. Talk about the teams that matter. They didn't make the playoffs. They weren't good enough. Even if they made it, they were going to be one and done. Cool. I'd rather see the Seahawks and the Lions than anyway.
Yeah. So let me see. So the line. I mean, they are playing a tough team in San Fran with. I mean, even though Purdy is on, I think he's going in as a starting QB, QB1, and a lot of storylines. I mean, Geno Smith on the Seahawks side. I think this is his first playoff game, if I'm not, as a starting quarterback, I believe. He's always been a backup, kind of.
He started with the Jets a couple of years, but I don't know if they made the playoffs when he was the starter.
I don't believe so because they've always been out of the playoffs, like the most recent times. So I'm not sure. I think because always been
I
Mark
think
Sanchez,
yeah, the good old Sanchez years.
and then they had Fitzpatrick. They had Fitzpatrick for a couple years, so
Hmm.
he's hard to back up for them too. So I would say it's safe to say that this is both QBs are. It's their first playoff, I guess, playoff start as a QB1. Even though Geno
Yeah,
Smith has
yeah.
more experience in the league,
Hmm.
Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, um, So, but I mean, I feel like San Fran has the better pieces. Debo Samuel, Brennan Ayuk, even Ryan Juszczyk is for the fullback, Chris McCaffrey. Then they got that defense too. So, I mean, that defense is scary.
Hmm.
But I'm not. I'm not sure how the game's gonna go because do I trust Brock Purdy? He's like experienced in the playoffs. I don't know because we haven't seen him in the playoffs and the atmosphere. But he has the pieces around him to make it happen to
Hmm.
win. It's the fact that under pressure, you know what I'm saying, can he, win? I mean, I know the money line for that game is 9 points. Not so San Francisco's way. So what do you think about this game? Like, what do you see?
I mean, I like the Niners. I've talked about the Niners the whole second half of the season. Brock Purdy, yeah, he's inexperienced, but with Shanahan and what they've done since Purdy's taken over, Shanahan's kind of just tailored the offense to fit Purdy. So as long as Purdy stays within himself, he makes the right decision, throws it to the open guy, they should be fine. You'll see a lot of McCaffrey being used. So a lot of pressures off of Purdy. The main thing will be, can Geno and the offense do enough against the Niners defense to kind of put some pressure on Purdy? If the Niners are, comfortably up by a touchdown or so throughout the game, I think Purdy will be fine. If the Seahawks can score like first, go up like 7-0, then we'll see what Purdy is made of in a, playoff atmosphere. He'll definitely get some help with the game being in San Francisco. But yeah, I just think the Niners defense is too tough. Even though they played a couple of weeks ago and the Seahawks kept it close. So I actually think this game might be closer than, was it 9.5? I mean, I would probably be leaning towards, picking the Seahawks like plus 9.5, but I think the Niners win the game. Kenneth Walker might be an important piece. If the Seahawks can get him going, that will definitely help. Oh, you're muted, Jordan.
No, I was saying Metcalf is another piece too that they on Seahawks that he can go off. But I mean, I didn't. I didn't mention like George Kittle too. Like on that side for the tight end, like he's like a Kelsey, like an Andrews, like reliable, like middle of the field tight end that can catch, run after catch. It's gonna be hard. I mean, I hate to say it for Dylan because Dylan, that's his team.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sorry, Dylan. I think the Seahawks are gonna lose. But I mean, if Metcalf can go off, Lockett can go off.
That's true. Yeah.
Possibly they can have a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Geno Smith, he started the season hot, you know what I'm saying? And they kind of lost a couple games here and there, but I mean, they have upper better the time, but Deebo Samuel, because he can run like running back routes, like he can do like the RPOs, he can do a lot of different things. Where how do you? It's kind of like to prepare for Deebo Samuel, like preparing for I'll say like a Lamar Jackson or like a Patrick Mahomes. Like how do you prepare for a guy that's like does so many different things on So and then Brandon Ayuk, Chris
You had
McCaffrey.
to throw Lamar in there.
I mean, I'm just saying that like when you're
No,
game
I
planning
was just
against
saying.
him, yeah. I mean, when you're game planning against a player like that, like how do you like have like how do you have that if like a Debo Samuel, like, hey, how do you game plan if you know he's gonna be in a slot, but then he's gonna be in the running back position on a wheel route. How do you game
Mhm.
plan that? You know that he's gonna be in a slot. Maybe he can play, on either side. So I mean, it's gonna be a good game. The 4:30 game. I mean, can Pete Carroll? Will his team to an upset? I mean, 9 points is not that big of a deficit. That's like only two touchdown deficit, maybe two score.
Mhm.
So it's not that. I mean, I thought it would be much higher. Maybe I thought it'd be like 13 and a half, just the way their offense is clicking. But I mean, like who's home? I thought we were San Fran's home, right?
Yep.
So
I just think it's because they played a couple of weeks ago. The game was kind of close, so the line probably came back a little bit. But 9.5 is a pretty decent spread. With it being a playoffs, this is the third time these teams are meeting. I think that's a sizable spread.
right. So the next game on the dock, Chargers versus Jaguars. Now this game I'm pretty excited to watch this game because, I mean, every time I check ESPN, other betting sites, I mean, the line's been 1.5 this whole time, and it hasn't really changed.
Mm-hmm.
So the AFC wild card, South. So Chargers and Jaguars. I mean, two like you said before, two like similar quarterbacks, where it's like they are both big body quarterbacks, where they have big arms. They're both kind of mobile in a sense where like if they're getting rushed by the linebackers, they can run if they needed to. Both have cannons. They both play similar ways. But I think the Chargers have. I mean, well, I know Mike Williams is out, but I know Jake, the guy in our group chat, Silva, he's a Chargers fan. He says that even though Mike Williams is out, Palmer has stepped up in that position for Mike Williams. So
yeah, but I
it's
think
hard
they'd
to.
rather have Palmer be number 3 than number 2. But
Well, yeah.
the Williams
I
thing
mean,
is also
Mike Williams,
interesting.
he's always been injured prone all year, so it's like.
Yeah, but he got injured playing last week in the game that didn't really matter. Well, I mean, it mattered, I guess, going in because if they lost and the Ravens won, whatever, they would have flip-flopped. But, I mean, I don't know. It was tricky because I feel like once they knew Lamar wasn't going to play last week, I feel like they could have kept Mike Williams out. But, I mean, it's a freak injury. Could have happened at any point, so I can't be too mad at that. I think there's some Chargers fans, especially those who may want Staley fired, I think are going to look to that if they lose and be like, why did you play him?
Right. So what do you think your scores are? Or what is your score for the NFC game? The Niners and Seahawks.
I'd probably go like 26-20 for that one. Because like I said, I think the Seahawks cover, but the Niners win that one. Then for the AFC game today,
it's tricky, man. It's tricky.
I mean,
like
the line's basically like pick 'em.
It's like a half-point favorite.
Yeah, it's basically pick 'em.
I'm not sure. I was leaning toward the Chargers actually, but half-point favorite for the Chargers. So
yeah. I have been on Jacksonville the second half of this season, actually a little bit before that, but I think I'm gonna keep going with the Jaguars. With the line being half a point, yeah, the game is in Jacksonville, so that looks a little bit better for the Chargers. I don't know. I just feel like with Peterson and what he's shown he's able to do when the playoffs roll around, I could see him working some type of magic with Jacksonville. I'm not expecting them to go deep in the playoffs, but I think when facing a Chargers team that Herbert's in the same situation, hasn't been in the playoffs, same as Lawrence, I think there's more confidence in Peterson's coaching style and his game plan as opposed to Staley, who we've seen make some questionable decisions, which is why a lot of Chargers fans kind of want him gone. So I think this could potentially be a shootout, to be honest. So I'm looking at like Jaguars winning this one. I can see like 31-30, something like that. I think it's gonna be really close. Look for Travis Etienne. I think he'll be key for Jacksonville.
Right. And I mean, so the Chargers, I mean, against the spread, the Chargers are 11-5-1, and Jaguars are 8-9 against the spread. So I mean, Chargers are 9. Chargers lead the series 9-4. Their last meeting, Jaguars did beat them 30-10 on September 25th in Los Angeles, and then the Chargers lost at Broncos 31-28. So, like you said, this could be a shootout. Do I? I mean, it's hard to say because both QBs have really had that playoff experience. I mean, Justin Herbert was on the brink of getting the playoffs like a couple years ago or a year ago. Picking the score is tricky because it can go either way. It's half-point favor for the Chargers for right now. But like I said, it could be a shootout. I mean, it's going to be a shootout.
Yeah.
Do you think that'll be a high-scoring game or kind of like that middle, low-scoring, like, you know? It might come down to the defense, man. Who can stop the other team from scoring?
Yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, I think there's a chance that the game starts off slow, and then one team will kind of score. It'll kind of just open up from there. Because I feel like with both teams not having a lot of playoff experience, they may be a little bit hesitant to start. So it might take a turnover or a score to really open the game up.
Yeah, this game I'm picking. So for my score for the San Francisco game, that's gonna be for that game. I'm gonna do 20. No, I'm gonna do. Did I have him put him up 30? I'm gonna say I would say 30. San Francisco. 30-24.
Okay, yeah.
And then for this game, it's a close one. I'm gonna do 24 Chargers, Jaguars 20. It's gonna be a close one. Herbert, I think I trust Herbert. Herbert still has Keenan Allen. You know, that's Austin Eckler. He's gonna go off. I think Khalil Mack is still on the defensive side, so like he's been kind of quiet this whole season, but still got him. So it's gonna be close. But then again, the coaches, Doug Peterson versus a Staley. So can my score change based off the coaches? Probably, because I probably trust. I mean, I know Doug's been in the playoffs with the Eagles, so he has that experience. But I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna keep that score 24-20. Chargers. Or
I mean, maybe wouldn't. Well, I mean, I guess if you're picking Staley, you may want a bit of a bigger score margin, because I think if the game is really tight late in the fourth, I feel like more people will probably side with Peterson, because, like I said, Staley has done weird things at the end of games, and I think that's why a lot of people think they missed the playoffs last year, where they probably should have been a playoff team, but Staley had some decisions late in the season that really cost them. So, I mean, yeah, I think this one out of the two games today, this game will probably be the better game of the two. I think from the outside looking in, although I think the Seahawks-Niners game could turn into a really good game as well. But it'll be interesting to see. Herbert and Lawrence are kind of going to be compared throughout a lot of their career. So it's good to see them actually go up against each other tonight.
It's going to be a good one. So I guess we'll go in order of the Sunday games. So we got the first 1 o'clock game, Miami Bills. This is a no brainer. I got the Bills winning the 13.5 point favorites. Um,
The
I mean,
spread, I don't know. Whenever I see 13.5 point spreads, I always get weary of that because all it takes to lose that is like the Bills are up 20, Dolphins score like a garbage touchdown, and they make it like 13, and you end up losing because of the 13.5. So that's good. I wonder how many people are like feel confident enough to like bet that line. And especially if, because I'm all on the Bills for this one. You know, with all the Hamlin stuff, Hamlin being out,
Tua being out.
if Hamlin shows up for like the coin toss or something, good luck, Skylar Thompson. There's no way, with the way that crowd will erupt, the way that the team will play, it could get ugly for Skylar Thompson.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, that's a good point because I'm pretty sure. I mean, he has been cleared by the Buffalo.
They haven't said anything about him being at the game or anything like that. I feel like that's.
I feel like the Bills know, but they're just holding out until like the game. Like,
I would. I mean, that's the moment you want to happen,
right?
Live for everybody.
But he's still part of the team, so it's not like he's like got cut off the team. Like he's still part of the team. So
I think worst case, he does like a video message. They pull him up on like the big screen. Crowd goes nuts. The players are like, "Oh my god!" And Miami's gonna be like, "Great."
Now, I mean, Miami does still have some pieces. I mean, they got Waddle. I mean, they got Tyreek Hill. I mean, other than the only thing I see in the Bills like team that I can see like for the Achilles heel. I mean, other than Poyer, it's like the secondary. I mean, with Tyreek Hill, he can still take the top off of cornerbacks, and the Bills haven't really. They have missed Micah Hyde on the other side. I mean, all year. And who knows? I mean, I'm not saying Staley. Who's the quarterback that's starting?
Skylar Thompson.
Yeah, Skylar Thompson. I'm not gonna say he has like enough arm to get it to him, but I feel like you still can't sleep on those two receivers. Even though but I think the Bills have the better. They have Gabe Davis. They have Stephon Diggs, obviously Josh Allen. And I think it's in Buffalo, so it's not in Miami. I don't think so. It's gonna be cold.
Yeah,
that's one thing. But no, you do bring up a good point. If like they do bring out DeMar for that coin toss, or bring him up on the big board. I mean. Yeah, like you said, good luck for Miami because that ignites the fire under the Bills, win one for DeMar. Man, that would be crazy if Miami upsets them, though. I mean, I don't think they will, though. But, I mean, hey, playoffs, anything can happen, man.
Is there a path to them winning? Yeah. If Buffalo gets too emotional and, Josh Allen starts forcing throws or something, Dolphins get a couple of turnovers.
Right.
Sure. If McDaniels has a game plan for Skylar Thompson where maybe we see him quick throws to Tyreek Hill, get the ball in his hand, see if he can make some moves with the ball after the catch. The running game could get going. We see Skylar Thompson scramble a little bit. Maybe they could take the emotion out of the stadium. If they if they get the ball first, go on like an 80-yard drive, then Miami may feel more comfortable in the game. But if it's something like happened like last week against New England, like the Dolphins kick off, Hines takes it back on the opening kickoff, then Miami's in a lot of trouble. So the opening drive, first quarter might really tell us how this game will go.
Do the Bills lead the season series in that division? Like those two teams? Like who is it, like a split game or?
I believe they split this series because I think Tua beat the Bills early in the
Yeah,
season.
that was that game when he had that concussion, or supposed to have a concussion that first meeting, right? When he went down in like
Yeah.
like week
Yes.
4.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they did beat him that
Yep.
game. Yep. And I think the Bills took it. So I mean, the Bills can prove. I mean, the Miami can prove that they can beat the Bills, but it's a totally different scenario.
Well,
Playoff.
yeah, the only difference is Skylar Thompson. If Tua
Yeah.
were playing, yes, I think a lot of people would be like, the Dolphins could go into Buffalo and win. It's just we don't know. Since we don't know a lot about Skylar Thompson, that's where a lot of doubt's going to come in. So, I don't know.
I mean, they traded for Chubb on the defensive side. I mean, they got some good. They got Xavier Howard on the cornerback. They got some good pieces on the defensive side, but can they put it together and pull an upset? I don't know.
Josh Allen's scrambling ability though makes it tough as well.
That's true.
Although I would like to see Buffalo use their running backs more. I know Josh Allen's a big dude, but I don't like seeing him running all that time because as a bigger quarterback, he just creates a bigger target for, secondary players to just hit. Because Josh Allen doesn't slide, doesn't run out of bounds, doesn't do any of that. Like he's trying to jump over defenders, which I think is crazy, but it's worked for him so far.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be a good one for sure. I mean, I'm excited to see. I think after after Saturday, we'll see what the playoff landscape looks like because this is run by the scenario. So if the Niners let's take our time with this. So if the Niners beat Seattle, who do they play? They play the Eagles, right?
That would depend on
or the Giants and Cowboys, right? Or I probably have the money.
None of the matchups would be decided necessarily because if the Niners were to win, the Niners are the 2 seed. So they would get the winner of most likely Vikings. Well, they get the Vikings if the Vikings win. If the Giants win, then it complicates things because most likely the Giants will get the Eagles. And then the Niners will just get the winner of Bucks Cowboys.
Hold on a second. Let me put the playoff machine. I'm not sure. Does it start? I think it has my picks from last episode. I'm gonna say does it start?
What the ESPN playoff machine thing?
Does it start? I wish it started like in the
that playoff machine doesn't do the playoffs. It's just for the regular season. You'd have to go somewhere else for a playoff bracket.
Let's see. It's kind of it's not that good. The website. Yeah, but I was gonna do the visual of like the different scenarios, but but like I think whoever beats,
like I said, the Niners winning, they can face everybody from the Bucks, Cowboys, Vikings. Those are their 3 possible matchups for the next round. If the Seahawks win, the Seahawks automatically would face the Eagles. On the other side for Saturday night with the Chargers and the Jaguars, if the Jags win, they could face anybody from the Chiefs. They could face Buffalo. Yeah, they could face the Chiefs or Buffalo. Chargers win, they could face, I guess, the Chiefs. They could face the Bengals. No. Yeah, they could face the Chiefs, Bengals, or Bills?
Yeah, the Ravens they have to deal with the Chiefs if we win, or the Bills. So if we win,
Yes, yeah.
so
So if
how
the
about that if
Ravens
we win?
win, the only way the Ravens don't play the Chiefs is if the Dolphins beat the Bills.
Oh, so kind of we're rooting for the Miami, I guess, in a way to to avoid the Bills.
I mean,
So if the Miami does beat the Bills, so we would play the winner of.
actually, I might let me share a
Oh man, look at this.
bracket.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's kind of small for me, but you can probably read it.
Oh, it is. Thought it'd
Uh,
be bigger. Hold on.
Oh yeah, this is a good one.
Yeah, do you see it
So
better?
yeah, I see. I gotta do a different display. Let me see. That's pretty good. I can see it. Bills.
Okay. Yeah. So with this one, you can kind of go through the scenarios basically. So if we both had the Jaguars winning
Mhm.
and the Niners. So if everything is just like all the higher seeds win, then you kind of get this matchup. But if the
So the
Dolphins would
Bills,
win
so
or
the
something,
Bengals, and the Bills. So that's what we're talking about. So that Bills Bengals game that would be like that at the neutral site in Atlanta, right? For the
uh see, I've been thinking about that, but I feel like the Atlanta site is if the Bills meet the Chiefs in the AFC Championship, I thought. I'd have to look at that release again. I don't know if they're saying that that was the neutral site for both games if needed, or if it was just the one for the AFC title game. Because I kept thinking if the Bengals meet the Bills, then that had to be neutral site too. I don't know. I guess we'll see if we get there technically. But I mean, I can keep this up as we go through the games and then fill it out as
yeah.
we pick.
So
Because
so do
we
the
had Jaguars, we have
so Jaguars
Niners.
Niners.
So
So
that's
right
what the
now they
bracket
would.
would look like.
So no one's in that spot for the to play the San Francisco, right? Not yet.
Right, because that would still depend on these other two
Oh, these
games
are
here.
two. All right, so let's
Yeah.
go. I'm gonna do the Vikings in that game just for the scenario. Vikings beat the Giants.
Okay.
So
I mean, I think the Vikings do win that game, even though I know everybody's picking the Giants to upset
yeah,
only because.
I mean, hey, do I
I mean,
trust
it could
Dable?
happen. Yes,
Do I
but
trust Dable? But I think Vikings have the better weapons. They got JJ. They got Thielen. They got Dalvin Cook. So I mean, they do have they do have Barkley. But I don't trust the receivers, man. Daniel Jones receivers. Like if Wandale Robinson didn't get hurt, I'd say yeah, they have a chance.
Mhm.
Galladay, he's still there, but yeah, he's like,
Well, I think where a lot
with
of
their
people are,
defense, like the defense is with Kayvon Thibodeau.
Mhm. And that's part of it because I feel like the Vikings have a high-powered offense,
Mhm.
but I think people trust the Giants defense slowing down the Vikings more than a Vikings defense that's been kind of hit or miss all season, slowing down even a Giants offense that you may not know a lot of the skill position guys that are out there. But Daboll has shown with Daniel Jones this year that, I mean, he's turned Daniel Jones into a legit starting quarterback. He's, helped him bring his turnovers way down, which was a big problem with Daniel Jones. So if they protect the ball, they should be able to put up points against the Vikings. It's just whether or not, how big of a question mark do you put on Kirk Cousins? A lot of people are going to talk about primetime Kirk Cousins, even though this game's at 4:30.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also the only game on at the time, so it kind of has a primetime feel to it. So that's where people are kind of wrestling with who do they go with. I just think the Vikings get it because I feel like this has been a weird NFL season. And I feel like it'd be the perfect year for Kirk Cousins to have like a really good game and kind of break the whole primetime thing. But I could see the Giants winning. I mean, I'm not mad at people if they're picking the upset. It's just I've been on the Vikings for too long to really turn against them now.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, so
I mean, if
for
you have
instance,
Vikings and I have the Vikings, we can
we
put them in.
can pick Vikings. So they play the Eagles and then the Cowboys.
That's as of right now because their
That'll be a good
matchup
one.
still depends on this game.
So in that game, I'm definitely going. I'm not betting against Tom Brady, so I'm going for the Buccaneers in that one.
See, I am too, but a lot of people think it's crazy to pick the Bucks.
They're saying that Ryan Jensen might come back for that game. They're saying that that could be a big
deal.
That's what that's what ESPN NFL Network was saying. I mean yeah that was what NFL Network was saying how if Jensen could come back, then that'd be a good sign for the Buccaneers.
Yeah. I've just been on them because I don't like the way Dak is playing right now.
Dak has been
he's been turnover prone, which he's not supposed to be.
I mean, they had the pieces. They have like CeeDee Lamb. They have
but doesn't matter. But it doesn't matter if Dak's throwing interceptions.
The defense. I mean, Michael Parsons. I mean, they got Trayvon Diggs. I mean, they still got a good defense. DeMarcus Lawrence up front.
Tampa Bay can neutralize that. Even if you have to go to a quick passing game, if you throw it before Parsons can get to Brady, you kind of neutralize him.
All right, so pick the Bucks. Let's see what happens. Oh, so the Bucks play the Eagles.
Yeah.
And then Vikings play San Francisco. See, that can be a good game, San Francisco and Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
So on that side, I think we're set on that side.
Yeah, that's who I have winning. I mean, I know it's kind of boring going with all the higher seeds, but
yeah,
that's what I see happening.
All right, well, okay, let's see if let's do it around. Let's turn it around. Let's do like the upsets. So what if? Do the Cowboys.
Well, I mean, the legitimate upsets, if you want to go with it, the Cowboys could very well win. Which then you just slide the Cowboys in there only because if the Vikings win, they automatically would get the Niners. But if you have the Giants and Cowboys winning, then you flip it where you get the Giants going to the Eagles and then the Cowboys face the Niners.
And then what if the Seahawks win? Like upset, this per se.
Well, Seahawks get the Eagles no matter what. That's the only team they can play. They can't play anybody else in the next.
So they're the lower seed, right? They play the.
Yep.
All right. So let's go to the AFC side. Okay. So we all got the Jaguars winning, or I mean, I had the Chargers winning, but
you did, yeah.
Let's hit the Chargers upset the Jaguars. Let's see what the playoff picture looks like.
Yeah, Chargers would still just sit here until these games. I mean, we picked the Bills, so
Bills. Like I'm gonna go upset with the Ravens. Let's see what's gonna happen with the Ravens if they win. Let's see what's gonna happen.
They play the Chiefs. Yeah, if we know the Chargers and the Bills win by the time the Ravens play, the Ravens would already know that they have to play the Chiefs if they win.
And with that game, if we do play the Chiefs, I mean, yes, the Chiefs, I think they're 3-1 against us in the regular season. I think we played them twice. Mahomes beat us, and then we beat them by 1 point, I think, last year, I think, in the regular season. So they're 1-3. But that game, yes, Patrick Mahomes will be playing. He will be obviously starting but the Ravens, I mean, I don't trust the Chiefs. I mean, we've all known that watching Chiefs games, they're terrible on the run defense. I mean, they really haven't proven to us that they can stop the run. I'm not saying the Chiefs probably will win that game, but in order for the Ravens to win that game, if that happens, It's a run the ball, man. Run that ball. I mean, I know Lamar's not going to be playing, but I mean, obviously you
That's
get to
the
put it in the
difference.
air. I mean, obviously,
That's
like you get to
that's
put
what
it in the
made
air.
the running game tough against Kansas City was only because Lamar factored into the running
Well,
game.
even that, Dobbins and Gus Edwards. I mean, it's going to
Yeah,
be.
but if Lamar's not there, that takes away from how
I mean,
effective they can be.
Huntley's not a. I mean, he can run, but he's not as fast as Lamar, though. But I'm saying he can definitely get outside the pocket if he plays. I'm not saying he's as athletic as Lamar because Lamar is more longer and more taller than him, and Huntley's more short. But I mean, I've seen plays where he scrambles, not as fast as Lamar, obviously, like when he hits those pockets, or those holes. But I mean, yeah, but that is if we get there, man. I mean, we'll see. But yeah. So let's talk. So we talked about the Bills and the Miami. So let's talk about the Ravens Bengals game. So
Joe Burrow.
the Bills, I think the line has been, I think it's 8-point favorite, I believe, which it was 9.5. No, it's 8.5. So it was 9.5. No, it was 8.5 right now. So the Ravens are, I guess, the underdog in this game. I think Tyler Huntley is starting. He had some shoulder issues, but he's been throwing the ball in practice.
Right. He's got to throw with a bum shoulder.
But I mean, the storylines. I mean, the Bengals are missing their offensive tackles. Alex Kappa got hurt, and then Lionel Collins has been hurt with the ACL. That means the Ravens got to run the ball, pound the ball, and then make plays happen, man. And
the Ravens need touchdowns as opposed to Justin Tucker field goals all the time. That's where a lot of my issues come with the Ravens, because they'll get around the red zone. They'll take maybe one shot at the end zone. If they don't get it, then it just turns into run the ball. Oh, send out Justin Tucker.
I mean, if the Ravens can run the ball, take some time off the clock, get some first downs, maybe get in scoring position.
Sure.
Defense
still need touchdowns.
Well, obviously, yeah, but I mean, I feel like our defense is going to step up. I mean, Roquan Smith. I think Marcus Peters is back. Calais Campbell is back. He is a run stopper. And the Bengals are complaining that the Ravens were played dirty. And I don't blame that. I mean, if AFC North football, I mean, it's gonna be dirty anyway.
There's a line. There's a line.
What dirty play did you see during that Bengals game? Honestly, no dirty play other than Roquan bumping Jamar Chase after the play. Like, that's not that dirty. Like,
no, I was just saying that there is a line. I mean, I get how physical football is.
I mean, there's a line, but I don't know why they're complaining. I mean, Harbaugh said he watched the tape. There was nothing that
I would never listen to Harbaugh, because Harbaugh used to cry when they faced the playoffs about stuff all the time. I wouldn't take Harbaugh's word, because that's what Harbaugh does.
I mean, I watched the game from my own eye. I didn't see no dirty play. It was just regular normal football.
Man, you're not gonna see that.
I mean, I'm gonna see it. Like, Bengals are complaining, but they had Vontaze Burfict, who had a freaking dirty ass.
He's not on the team anymore.
I'm just saying, like, just the history of like it's AFC North football. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna be hard nosed, tough opponents, like Ravens and Bengals. So, I mean, Jamar Chase, they said there's smoke. I mean, Roquan Smith said there's smoke in the air. Let's do it, man.
Burrow. I keep telling you can.
What are y'all gonna say? Defense. What are y'all gonna
defense?
What are y'all gonna say when Burrows loses, man?
Okay. The sun will come up. It will be a new day. I'm not gonna pick against the Bengals because of one, Lamar isn't playing. So I've seen Huntley for a few weeks now. I know what kind of what he's capable of doing versus what he's not. And I just am not optimistic. Not now if the game were in Baltimore, maybe I'd feel a little bit better about it. I just feel like there's gonna be so much pressure on the defense to, you know, keep Cincinnati to like probably under 20. That, you know, if the offense comes out and looks like they're going to struggle all day, that just puts more on Roquan Smith and those guys to have to be perfect. And I think that's where the game could get away. Because if they're playing really good for like a half, let's say it's like 6-3 at the half, the defense will be like, man, we're doing all we can. And you guys haven't distanced yourselves in terms of the Ravens offense, that there could be some letdown. Same way if, you know, the Bengals come out opening drive, just, you know, go down the field, get a touchdown. The offense comes out 3 and out. The defense might be like, oh, it's one of these days. So Harbaugh and Roman are going to have to come up with I guess more Roman, since Harbaugh's more of a defensive mind, but Roman's got to come out with a game plan. Like, if the Ravens win the coin toss, they probably should take the ball first. They probably wouldn't because they want to put their defense on the field first, but I would like to see them take the ball. If they could put together a drive that gets a touchdown, I don't need to see a, you know, Justin Tucker kick, but then we could talk about something. But I just don't have any faith in that happening.
Yeah, I mean, so do you I know did you see that like Lamar, he did come out on Twitter and say, like, you know, his side of the story. Do you think
come on, man.
Everyone's gonna say, like, everyone's saying that, oh, it's not, he didn't tweet that, but I feel like he did tweet that. I mean,
I'm not even talking about whether he tweeted it or not. It was just the timing of it. It seemed convenient because he knows everybody's been talking about where's Lamar at. It's a playoff game. How could you not play? And then we get a tweet talking about, oh, I want to be out there, but my knee's unstable. If your knee was unstable, let us, the team shouldn't have acted like there was a chance of him coming back if his knee's unstable. If his knee's unstable, rule him out. That way, you don't have to. That way, I'm sure Harbaugh probably answered questions about Lamar all week. He could have ended that just by saying, look, he's hurt. His knee is still swollen or whatever, and we're not going to put him in danger. Boom. The narrative's gone. But they were so vague with it that people were like, it was supposed to be 1 to 3 weeks. This is week, 6? Where's Lamar? Where's Lamar? Where's Lamar?
Well, I think that 1 to 3 weeks wasn't a true report, but that's what I've heard.
But that was all we were told. 1 to 3 weeks, and then 3 weeks passed. Lamar still wasn't playing, and nobody said anything about his knee being unstable. They were just, then the narrative became, oh, they're just going to hold it off for the playoffs because, they might not win the division anyway. Why force Lamar back? So they gave us nothing. And then all week, like I said, Harbaugh goes in there, questions automatically. So how's Lamar progressing? Is he going to play this week? And I can't remember. I remember seeing a clip about Harbaugh talking about, I guess, something like, I don't even know. But it's just like, went through all of that. And then, what was that, Thursday? He sent that, Lamar put that tweet out there about his knee being unstable. I don't know. I mean, his knee very well could be. He went in there talking about what grade 2 sprain instead of grade 1.
The thing is that grade 2, borderline 3. So, I mean, it's like,
if he had a grade 2 sprain, there was probably a good chance he wasn't going to play anyway.
Yeah.
So the Ravens could have done better. They could have said, grade 2 sprain, doubtful for this weekend. People would have been like, okay. Because they're not fooling the Bengals. Because the Bengals are probably planning on Lamar not playing anyway. Because he didn't play the final week of the season where if Lamar played and the Ravens could have won, this game would have been a coin flip, and it could have been in Baltimore. So why wouldn't Lamar have played?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand how the Ravens kind of played this, because they weren't tricking anybody. But
so I got one question for you, Kyle. I got one question about the situation. You said you have one chance to make this right.
okay,
If Lamar gets his contract, say Lamar gets his contract right now, that pay him.
what kind of contract we talking about?
I'm just saying, like the contract that people want him to get. You know,
What
is
that?
Gene's been saying, or Freddie's been saying, pay the man. Like Freddie's been saying in the group chat, if I'm Lamar, if I'm paid, I'm playing.
But the Ravens want to pay him. That's what I'm saying. What kind of numbers are we talking here?
Maybe like I'd say 5 year, maybe. What's a reasonable amount guaranteed?
Oh,
because people were saying,
don't even know. My thing has been, people are making it seem like, because Kyler Murray had such a disastrous season, Russell Wilson had a disastrous season, Deshaun Watson didn't play until the last 4 weeks of the year, that Lamar automatically has to jump ahead of those guys and get more than them. And I'm on the side of Gene, like, yeah, in a perfect world, yes. But for Baltimore has to think about it as, if we give Lamar all this money, we could lose certain free agents that we may not want to lose because we're tied up too much into Lamar. Lamar, the past couple of years, has gotten hurt at the end of the year. If that becomes a trend, the end of the year is when we're trying to make moves in the playoffs. If we can't depend on you, how can we give you all this money when we're going to need you most of the end of the year? You haven't been around. And then that plays into, how does Lamar project out 3 years down the line? Is he slowly breaking down? I mean, I'm not saying whether he is or not, but Baltimore has to think about that, because they don't want to get caught paying Lamar big money, and then Ravens fans are just this guy's broken.
Mm-hmm.
Now what do we do?
So but everyone's been saying, he's holding out for contract reasons. I'm just saying, if he gets paid his money, do you think in the playoffs right now, do you think he's playing?
That's kind of tricky.
If he gets his check right now,
based off of Lamar's tweet, that shouldn't matter.
If Lamar got his contract like Roquan Smith, 5 year, and he deserves that. Correct?
But I'm saying, based off of Lamar's tweet, no, because he said his knee is unstable.
Right.
If your knee's unstable, you can't play. I don't care if you have a check or not.
Because other than Adam Schefter, a little bit of somewhat said I believe, but I really believe Ian Rappaport on YouTube on the Pat McAfee show. They were saying the same thing. Like he asked Ian Rappaport, do you believe if Lamar Jackson, he's a very trustworthy NFL reporter, he was like, hey, I would say, compared to Adam Schefter and the other ones, he was like, on his show, he was like, do you believe that Lamar, if he gets paid his money right now, is he playing? And Ian said no. He said it's strictly just the injury. I mean, obviously Lamar, he said he wants to be out there. In the way, the caliber, the way he plays at, that PCL, I'm not a doctor whatsoever, but the PCL is like the part of the knee that like holds it together. So like if you're like juking in and out and like you don't feel that knee is in the right place on a strain, that can be tough. But
I think there's a better question to this.
Mm-hmm.
If Lamar was more capable as a passer, would he be playing? Because then technically, if his knee was a little whatever, if he was a guy who could stand in the pocket and just throw the ball,
he could
play.
Now you bring up a
good point. The fact that he has to run so much, that's where I think Lamar maybe is worried.
You bring up a good point because I don't know if you hear Sammy Watkins of the Washington Post kind of like basically called out Lamar. He was like, I don't know if you heard this. In this league, I think it was the other day. In this league, everybody, and I quote, it says, in this league, everybody is pretty much banged up, hurt. Receiver Sammy Watkins says, I don't want to speak for him in this situation and whatever he's going through with the contract. I don't know what world he's in, but for me, you got a chance to do something special. We all know with Lamar Jackson out there, this team is really freaking good, and special things can happen. He can still win this team. He can still will this team to a Super Bowl. I don't think he's thinking about it in that way. He continued by saying he's got an opportunity to win a Super Bowl. I hope he hobbles back out there, but put him out there for the pass plays and don't run him at all. But to your point, but you never know what could be wrong.
Sammy Watkins.
I've been So I'm gonna say my piece after this. I'm being very selfish right now. I just to want him to be out on the field. But man, what a great thing it would be to see 8 touch that field this Sunday, and we go out there and blow them out. But that's for Lamar and everybody else to figure out. Hope miraculously something happens. Somebody reach out to him, whether it's a coach or somebody, and he decides to play. But that's a question. If he's healthy or he's not, I don't know. I haven't been watching him. Now, Sammy Watkins.
Well, let me say this before you start.
I'm about to go off.
Sammy Watkins, it's been nice, but he's not coming back to Baltimore after the season. Clearly, from that comment, yeah, he's not coming back after this season.
Sammy Watkins. If you're watching this, my brother, STFU, first of all, you're the last one to be talking about injuries. You're injury prone. You fucking dropped the goddamn ball and fumbled the ball last game. Oh, that was your fault. You're the last one to be talking about contract or anything with injuries. Yes, you're right. Lamar, you're right. Just like you said, Kyle, like maybe put him in some passing plays, But then again, it took over a chance for him to get hurt,
That's what knee braces are for. That's why every quarterback wears one.
That's true. But I don't know. I feel like, Sammy Watkins is kind of being selfish. Like, it's like, okay, right now, thank God.
Think he's being selfish.
He was like, but
because he understands it as the Ravens team. So in Sammy Watkins' mind, you should actually be okay with what he's saying. He's saying the team is good enough to win. And if Lamar is able to go out on the field, he should, because it gives them a better chance to win.
But that risk more that
risk is only because of what I keep telling you. And what Godfrey says, what Gene says, because of Lamar's deficiencies in the passing game, in Lamar's mind, that's where he's worried. Because Lamar's game is so much on his legs, that's why he's worried to come back. Because if it's unstable, yeah, he knows that if he takes off, maybe he tweaks it, he steps the wrong way, and then he's out longer. But if Lamar, in his mind, or whatever, in Baltimore's mind, if Lamar was a guy who could stand in the pocket if you protected him and just bullets all over the field, why would he sit out? Because his knee's a little unstable, especially for a playoff game. I mean, I saw Phillip Rivers play with a torn ACL. ACL is much more
but
damaging than a PCL.
Obviously the injuries, but you can't really compare Phillip because he's more of a pocket passer where Lamar
That's my point.
Yeah.
If Lamar was better at throwing the ball, he would be out there, which is what I've been saying. And, you as a Ravens fan is like, yeah, Lamar has a great arm. I don't think Lamar has confidence in his arm.
I don't think he has the receivers. So, other than Bateman, he's out.
We've seen quarterbacks put up big numbers with lesser receivers. The great quarterbacks in this league make receivers better. So it shouldn't matter. Yes, Brady's the GOAT. New England never drafted wide receivers for Tom Brady. His best wide receiver was Julian Edelman, who was a quarterback in college. That was his best wide receiver. What did Brady rely on? Tight ends. Lamar's got Andrews, one of the better tight ends in the league.
Got a young likely too. Legally, showing some promises too.
So don't talk about wide receivers. Patrick Mahomes, they took Tyreek Hill away from him, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, the Chiefs are going to be awful." Well, not awful, but they're going to take a step back. They won what, 14 games?
Yeah.
Look at the Chargers. Mike Williams and Keenan Allen were in and out of the lineup all year. Justin Herbert still had a pretty good year.
That's true. But I mean, when I first read the statement, I thought it was a kind of he did kind of say it was kind of selfish, but do you think he's kind of
yes, it was selfish. It was selfish in the mind of
he was
the
like
team knows they're good and they want Lamar. That is selfish. Yes, but I think it's selfish in a good way where he understands the team is good enough to beat Cincinnati, to beat Kansas City or whatever, because he thinks Lamar is that guy to do it for them.
So do you think, like, watching this team, Kyle Edwards, do you see Lamar playing at all this playoffs? If we advance, like, say if we play the Chiefs, do we see him playing against the Chiefs?
I mean, he's kind of backed himself into a corner now, though.
Think about it. He, like, his goals was he wants to. I mean, obviously, when he got every quarterback's dream is when he gets drafted is to get to the promised land, get to that Super Bowl. But I mean, imagine how awkward it would. I'm just thinking hypothetical reasons. Say if like we get to the Super Bowl and like he's not playing, and like say if I'm just thinking the unimaginable. If Huntley gets a Super Bowl. Lamar did earn a Super Bowl, but he wasn't the starting quarterback. So I mean, how awkward would that feel for him? Like, oh, like I could have been there for my guys, but it's like.
That's what I'm saying. Lamar's backed himself into a corner. Like the Niners told us weeks ago that Garoppolo was hurt, and they said the only way he would come back that he could because of the timetable, NFC title game. So we already had that in the back of our mind. If they get to the NFC title game, Garoppolo would be healthy enough. And then that's a decision Shanahan would have to make. Because at that point, that means Purdy's played pretty well for like 7 weeks. And then do you risk messing that up by bringing Garoppolo back in?
I forgot there's a whole other piece of the quote I left out. I think the world is ready to see Lamar back on the field, doing what he do best. And we get all the stipulations and contract stuff behind him. I pray somebody talks to him like, man, just sign the deal. You know what I mean? He get out there, and hopefully, if he's healthy, he can just come play this Sunday. We all know that's up to Lamar and whatever goes on. Hopefully, they get something done. The world wants to see Lamar be a Baltimore Raven for the rest of his life. The world wants to watch Lamar Jackson. That's a phenom talent, a talent that you can rarely come by. Things that he do on the field and things that you see. To be quite honest, when he's out there, he makes everyone play better. Just to have him in that huddle, I pray that somebody can reach out to him, or that he's really truly getting healthy and can play. That he wake up Thursday and be like, all right, forget it, I'm playing. I think that would change the whole. That's selfish.
That makes it sound different, though. That makes it sound like Watkins is hearing the Stephen A's and stuff talking about, Lamar should sit out.
I forgot
Lamar should do this. And it seems like Watkins is almost talking to those people because Watkins thinks those people may be influencing Lamar's decision. Because with him constantly saying, I pray somebody talks to him. Yeah, that makes it seem like Lamar's being influenced by something outside of just his knee.
It could, because we all know, I mean, he doesn't have an agent. His mom is an agent, so we don't know who his team is around him that he has.
Maybe that's who Watkins is talking to without calling her out. I don't know. That just seems weird for him to keep saying, I pray somebody talks to
him. Yeah. It's kind of awkward, kind of like it's like.
And that's what I'm like, if Lamar were to then randomly come back next week and be like, your knee was unstable last week, but now you're good to go.
I mean, I get it. It's a playoff game. I mean, Watkins wants to see Lamar out there, like we all do. We want to get number 8 on that field because, like you said, he does make his players better. But I think in a way that Watkins, I think where I'm mad at Watkins is like he needs to stay in his lane. I'm saying, who knows if it's like it could be just the knee. We all know Lamar is a player first. He cares about his teammates, man. Like he wants to be out there with his teammate.
The
But
way Watkins is taking it, maybe
Wa-
this situation's
I mean,
different.
listen, Watkins, he played for us, right?
Mhm.
We released him. So I mean, he doesn't really. I mean, obviously he's.
Watkins isn't on the team right now.
No, he is. But
Oh,
I'm saying
okay,
he was
okay,
on the
okay.
team before. Then
Oh,
remember
yeah,
he was on the Packers.
I got you.
And then they released him, and now we signed him back. I don't know, like the fact that he said, "Oh, yeah, Lamar talked to somebody," like what he's saying is basically from that second part of the quote is what I'm getting at is like Lamar should sign that contract and play.
Yeah, it seems like Watkins thinks the deal Lamar was offered before the season might have been a good deal for Lamar.
And it is true. Players do get banged up, but players don't get banged up like. I mean, they do get banged up, but at a caliber of Lamar's play, like this,
but you just said Huntley's playing with a bad shoulder.
But
so to the Ravens players are like, this dude's he's a quarterback who has to throw the ball. His shoulder's hurt. He's trying to play. But Lamar, knee is unstable, and he's not even trying to play.
So
playoff situation, guys die for the playoffs.
Right.
And that's even with the Niners situation being different because the Niners are a 2 seed. And they're favorite this weekend. They're favorite probably for the next couple of weeks. The Ravens are a 6 seed. A lot of people are doubting them. And I think in Watkins' mind, it's like Lamar has to be hearing all of that. Lamar is 1-3 in the playoffs. He was betting on himself. Remember, he bet on himself.
He was having a good year until he went down. I mean, he was having.
So if he's betting on himself, what better way to do it? Show up in the playoffs, beat the Bengals.
But I guess it's a risk worth paying because say if he does play and he's not fully healthy, that could be from a strain to a tear. And knee tear, that's a 2-year. That's a 2-year. Depending on the tear, that could be a 2-year absence. Well, it's a PCL, but still, it's a PCL strain right now. So what if he goes back and gets a tear?
I think a torn PCL, you're out not that long, I don't think.
I heard it's like 1 to 2 years, I think.
That's what?
Let me see.
No. Because the more important ligaments are your ACL and MCL. ACL is the bad one. But players come back from that in under a year now with the way modern technology is. MCL is the second one. I think PCL is the one out of the 3 if you were to tear. PCL is the one you want to tear. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but that's
how long does the PCL take? So if it's a mild injury, it may take only 10 days to heal. But if you have to have surgery to repair your PCL, recovery could take 6 to 9 months.
So PCL isn't.
I don't know where it's on Twitter. I think I don't know.
I mean, everybody is a doctor on Twitter. But if it was ACL or MCL, I'd be like, I get it because ACL is the big one. PCL, yeah, you tear that, I think you could even play on a torn PCL. It'll just be comfort level. Whereas if you tore your ACL, you're not playing on that because that's what most of the stability in your knee.
But the PC, I'm trying to figure out what the PCL, because I'm trying to feel. I guess you can't really feel your PCL, but like it's like that piece where it's like it feels like a string on your knee, where it's like a piece of a tendon in your knee that's like kind of like where if it's wobbly, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'm not sure where at in the knee the PCL is. I think it's like that. I don't know.
Also, the way he put it, unstable knee. It's like you could wear a knee brace, you could wear the little knee sleeve or something, and right. I feel like I mean, just quick like Google search. It's like the PCL. It goes the back of your knee, connecting your thigh bone to the top of your lower leg bone. So yes, I think the PCL is on the back. I believe your ACL is on the side. And MCL might be in the front or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I always knew that the PCL was the least of the three.
Right. So I mean, so do you think? I mean, so say the Ravens out of nowhere. I'm hypothetically just give him a contract of what he wants right now. Do you think you don't think he still plays? I mean, I think it's. I don't think it's.
That's a bad look then.
I don't think it's a con. I don't think it's a contract. I think it's just the injury. I mean, people are just.
Then the contract shouldn't factor in because, I mean, Gene also said this last night or something Wednesday. Lamar's under contract right now. He's getting paid right now.
That's true.
If he signs a new contract, that's for next year. He's still making money this year. So
right now,
that shouldn't factor.
Now, Ian Rappaport, of that video he did in the podcast topic with a good thought. So after the playoffs and all season comes around, the Ravens can have two options. He said they can either franchise. So there's two types of franchise tag. I didn't know. It was the exclusive franchise, which is like, okay, you're not touching my quarterback. He's on our team. I think it's like $44 million. I think he gets from that. And then there's the unexclusive, which you can have like 2 draft picks and trade Lamar. So it depends on where they go. Do they? I mean, I think they can do it for 2 years. I think, but do they? So now, if they do franchise tag him, can they still sign to a long-term deal in that franchise tag window?
Yep.
So I'm assuming if the Ravens would be kind of stupid to let Lamar go. I would say franchise tag him exclusively, so no player, no team can get him.
I wouldn't say they'd be stupid to let him go. So
I mean,
I think I made this point Thursday night. It's like the issue is Baltimore's done everything with Lamar in mind. So obviously, if Lamar leaves, they're gonna have to change a few things. They would kind of change how the offense is run based off of who they replace him with. And I think on the Ravens part, that's not that hard to change. You could go from run based to more of a balanced offense. Yeah, that's not difficult. You're just calling different plays. Lamar's issue is going to be if he leaves Baltimore, where does he go that they don't have to completely turn everything around just for him? That's going to be Lamar's issue. And if he does go somewhere else, is it going to be a situation where they're kind of turning to him because their foundation is kind of broken already and they're kind of starting over with Lamar? And if Lamar wants that situation,
I think
that's where the difference is.
I don't know what he's thinking, man. I think his best bet is in Baltimore. I mean, maybe get a D-Hop, get some pieces. I mean, Bateman's coming back healthy. Duma's coming back healthy. Maybe get another, another.
Problem has never been pieces, though. They've been a playoff team every year, so yeah, but clearly the team's doing something right.
But think about it. We haven't really had a top 5, top 10 receiver to throw to.
It doesn't matter. They're still winning like 10, 11 games a year.
I mean, Mahomes had Tyreek Hill. I mean, for all
they took him away, and Mahomes is still playing well. All of the issues with Baltimore are on Lamar. It's Lamar's development as a passer is what is keeping the Ravens from reaching that next level. Lamar, as he currently plays, can only go so far. Lamar being a run first type of quarterback, that works to a certain point. But if you go up against Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, those teams or whatever, Even Joe Burrow, where they have offenses that could put up 30-something points. Can Lamar run an offense in a playoff situation to keep up with that? That's where the questions are. And when they have these drives where it's like run, 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 yeah, you're eating like 8 minutes off the clock. But you can't really rely on that every time. And then if you have those drives that end in field goals, it almost feels like a waste at times. So I guess to tie it all back in with the unstable knee or whatever, if Lamar was the type where, he could throw the ball 45, 50 times, get you 325 yards, 4 touchdown passes, then okay. But he hasn't shown me that. And I feel like it's not the pieces around Lamar. He won an MVP with these, non-top 5 wide receivers because they tailored the offense to Lamar's skill set. That's why whenever you talk about, Greg Roman needs to go, Roman was the coordinator when he won the MVP. So Roman understands what Lamar can do. Lamar's the one who has to come in and show them, like, hey, you want me to throw it 50 yards down the sideline? I can do that. Here, let me show you. Haven't seen it from him. Lamar is comfortable throwing to Mark Andrews over the middle because that's an easier throw. When you're throwing outside the numbers, your timing has to be on, because if you're late on the throws to the outside, it's getting picked off. And I think that's where the issues are with Lamar. Yeah, it's all, great because if the play breaks down, you can run 80 yards. Okay. But when that's not available to you, what can you do?
True, that's true. Now I was reading like a Blizzard article saying that Lamar Jackson rumors, Ravens haven't changed their stance, want new contracts for a QB. So I'm assuming whenever that, I'm not saying so basically they're saying whenever the season ends, like Lamar or any QB of that statute would cut off contract negotiations throughout the season. We all know that.
I don't think the Ravens mind that.
Yeah. That's fine. They said that Rappaport said that whenever the season ends, Sunday against the Bengals or next week or at some point in the future, they plan to begin negotiating with Jackson with hopes of striking a long-term deal. Sources said they made inroads prior to the season, but never reached a point of getting close to an agreement. And then another factor is the reason. They did offer, I think, Lamar Jackson $133 million guaranteed, which would have made him second highest behind Watson. But
what's the problem?
I don't know. I'm just reading an article real quick.
But I'm just saying, so Lamar didn't take that. So the deal means Lamar wants more than Watson.
So the deal would have made Jackson the second highest paid quarterback in NFL by average annual salary, $50 million. Aaron Rodgers is the highest paid quarterback by average annual of $50.3 million.
What's the problem?
I don't know.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like it doesn't make it. And then some of these people on TV who are like, well, even like Freddie, pay the man. They offered him the second highest contract for a quarterback. That's paying him.
Yeah.
And then if Lamar were to turn around and then just sign that again this offseason, I feel like Ravens fans should really ask the question, like, so what was the whole, dance for? They offered to you before.
What I'm thinking is, I think the factors are the years, how many years. Because a long term can mean 5. A long term can be 10. A long term can be whatever.
There's no way.
Well, I know. I'm just
I
saying.
would be, yeah, but I'm just saying, like,
I'm just saying that, like,
he's getting like 7-10 years.
Well, if he wants, if a player, I know Mahomes got his money. So, like, what from your standpoint, what is a long term contract? How many years would that? So, if Lamar want to be a Baltimore Raven for life, would it be 5 years here and there, 5 years, another 5 years, or
It would take multiple contracts for him to play his whole career in Baltimore.
I'm not sure who said it. I think Brett or Chase. I think Lamar can go the route where, okay, the Ravens know they need some more weapons and all this. Maybe he can do what Tom Brady did. Well, where they can have enough money.
I said that.
Have you said that? Oh, my bad.
No, I'm saying like no. Chase and them probably have said that, but I said that too. It's like.
So how would that work? How long would that contract, or how many years would that be for?
No, he can still take a 5-year deal. The thing was, Brady never needed to be the highest paid
quarterback
because Brady understood if I take a little less. I mean, Brady makes money through endorsements and all that, like Lamar does. So you don't have to base your whole income on your NFL contract. But so many players think if I'm not paid the number one in my position, then you're disrespecting me. And it's like, shut up. Okay. That's not what it is. The NFL is a business. You have 53 people on an active roster. If we tie too much money into one position, then we may lose somebody who you don't care about, but we have to worry about. Like, let's say they signed Lamar first. And then Roquan was like, so what are you going to give me? And they couldn't give him the 5 and 100 or whatever that they offered him. Would you rather have Lamar and no Roquan?
That's another factor. Do you think since I think Roquan, he represents himself, right? I believe so.
Yes, I think, yep.
Do you think that by chance, after the offseason is in the full swing, do you think that Roquan, I'm pretty sure Roquan has Lamar's number. Do you think that Roquan can sit down and be like, yo, listen, I mean, I know I'll play a different position. I know we both have, are both representing ourselves. Do you think he gives advice to Lamar, be like, yo, this is what you should do? I mean, I know do whatever you want to do, but that proves that a deal can't get done. Obviously, both play a different. One's the middle linebacker, one's a quarterback, franchise quarterback. But you think Roquan sits down with Lamar, like, yeah, bro, listen, bro, talk to them about this, tell them what you want, hear them. I mean, who knows who's in Roquan's circle though? I'm not sure, other than maybe his closest friend.
I'm assuming Roquan is probably a team leader. So if he is, then that means he should have some power in talking to Lamar.
Right. I mean, I feel like well, I mean, at one point I did think Lamar should need an agent when he got drafted, because he would do some stupid things like off the field, like almost got hurt in a freaking jet ski accident. You know what I'm saying? It's like very stupid. I mean,
an agent can't stop that.
Oh no, but I'm saying he was playing like pickup football game. He could have broken a knee in Florida. I mean, I know he had his kid's foundation in Florida.
But I mean, if his mom's part of his representation, she could have told him to calm down. Also, Lamar's a grown man. He should know not to put himself at risk like that.
I know. But I'm just thinking, man, if the Ravens don't want to let him go,
yes, they may not want to let him go, but if Lamar has these outrageous numbers in his head, they can't. It's not written anywhere that they have to match what he wants.
Yeah, but definitely, I don't think he's holding. I truly think that it's just the knee injury that's holding him back. I don't think it's a contract situation. I feel like they might get that edged out in the offseason,
So, do you think he made himself more money this year?
For the games he played, I mean, so far up to his injury, I don't think he deserves like the whole fully guaranteed money he deserves. But I feel like he raised his stock a little bit.
See, I don't.
Before he went down.
The fact that he got injured again at the end of the year hurt him. The fact that he's not playing in the playoffs.
It's not like he got planned on getting injured though. You know what I'm saying? It's not like his.
Right, but I'm just saying. In Baltimore's mind, it's like, so this is the second year in a row you've gotten hurt at the end of the year. That's something we have to factor in. If Lamar came out, played the whole year, won a couple of games in the playoffs, then he could be like, look what I did. So bump it up a little. But now it's almost like Baltimore, if they wanted to take some money back, they could be like, look, you keep getting hurt. Like, what are we supposed to do?
What was his first? Was it the hip? I think I don't know what his first injury was. It might have been the hip. I think it wasn't
so.
the knee.
I think. And he's a running quarterback, so we're talking hip, talking knee. I don't know. He's
so. I mean, I know we did this before, but like, okay, so let's revisit this. So like, if you want to keep, if you're a Ravens organization, if you're in a Ravens organization,
I offer the same thing I offered in the offseason.
So the 133
because they were comfortable in offering that last year. Well, before the season started,
do you think they maybe up it maybe 50.5 million, or keep it at 50 million?
I think they start the very same number. See what Lamar says. If Lamar goes no, I mean, maybe they go, okay, so then what are you wanting? If the number's really close, fine. But if it's like way out there, then Baltimore's got to be like, look, I don't know what to do for it.
It's going to be very, very interesting, because obviously we got Roquan Smith. He's good, 5-year, $100 million deal. He definitely deserves that. Definitely a leader, like I say, on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, it was either like you said, it was either franchise tag Roquan, sign Lamar, franchise tag Lamar, sign Roquan. So they signed Roquan. So I definitely like that.
They probably understood that was going to be an easy deal to make.
Right. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting.
It's also funny that he signed his during the season. So he may have been talking to Baltimore all the time.
I didn't even know that players can sign right now in the playoffs. I thought it was
you can sign whenever you want. It's whether or not you want to negotiate.
So basically, Lamar can sign before the Super Bowl game if they're in it and get a contract.
Yeah, he could literally sign 5 minutes from now.
Yeah, I mean, I think
he said he's not negotiating during the season.
Right, that's the thing.
Although he's been hurt, so that should kind of make it a little different. But
yeah, I mean, the Ravens. I mean, Lamar has put the team in a predicament, but I thought like a deal should get done in the offseason. I think March 1st or 7th is like the trade franchise tag deadline. I think March or April to get like
something
like that. So in 2 months from now. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, I agree. Maybe they should go back with that same deal. Maybe fix a little bit of it. Maybe like a little bit of it. Hear what Lamar has to say. I mean, what pieces would he like? You know what I'm saying? Do you think the answer? Do you see Greg Roman off the coach next year?
Why shouldn't he be? Well, it's again, they won 11 games this year? Or 10? Yeah, they won 10-7. That's a pretty good year. And they've made the playoffs each year. He's been there. I don't see why you need to change him. Like I said, he's done everything kind of tailored to Lamar's skill set. And it's not to say like he couldn't, be the offensive coordinator if it was a different quarterback other than Lamar. So yeah, I don't see why the only way Roman would leave is if he gets a head coaching job. And I don't think I've heard his name in any of the searches, well, mainly because they're still playing.
Right.
Once they're eliminated or something, does Roman get an interview? I don't know. Because I don't know how he's viewed like outside of Baltimore from other teams, because is he pegged as a guy who would need a Lamar Jackson type quarterback? I don't think so. But I don't know. I just think there's a lot of great candidates out there that I don't know if Roman he might just end up getting looked over this round. But yeah, I feel like Roman will still be there.
Yeah. Did we go every game? I think we did.
Yeah. Yeah, because we ended with Bengals Ravens, which I mean, obviously you're taking the Ravens. I'm taking the Bengals.
That's fine with me, man. I mean, I knew your choice of going into the show, man. So no surprise, no surprise. Um, no. Before I end the show, let's see. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that does it for today's show. But I do have some exciting news for y'all, all the viewers. On Tuesday, the 24th. I know me and Kyle had the Big Three podcast, but we're gonna hold my show on Tuesday before the Big Three podcast, and we're gonna have a surprising guest. One of my um, one of my football players he's got drafted or he declared for the NFL draft.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Brennan Ray. He's a 5-time All Conference All Regional defensive back from Montclair State Redhawks D3 school. So I'm going to be interviewing him on the show. Get a little insight of how the NFL draft combine is and all that thought process and all that pro days and stuff. So we're gonna have him on to have a cool, chill conversation. It's gonna be cool. So y'all don't want to miss that. I know Kyle might want to come up with some questions, or want to go up the dome. This normal conversation, as me and you are having a conversation right now. So it's gonna be a cool one. Like D3 players are not really known that or like any sport in the D3 like conference. I mean, you think of the D1, D2 schools like Duke and Alabama and Georgia and Syracuse and all those big schools. I mean, you don't really think of Montclair State as like a player coming.
No, NFL is different. NFL, they find you somehow.
Oh, well, yeah.
Kyle Duggar went to a school I had never heard of. And
TCU?
No, Kyle Duggar went to like Lenore-Rhine, which is a D3 school. And, Belichick drafted him in, the third round. And people were just like, what? Who is this guy? Jerry Rice went to a small school. He went to what is it? It's like southwestern Alabama or something like that. So the NFL, they do their homework. I give them a lot of credit for that. NBA is a little different. You're only dealing with like 15 people. So a lot of the time you kind of go D1. But football, some scout finds a way of noticing you, especially with the combine. That definitely helps smaller school guys because that's where every team is represented and they're just looking at everybody. I mean, that would be, I guess, a question because, you have to be invited to the combine, I believe. So that's definitely a question to ask if he's been invited. But they usually cast a pretty wide net in terms of the combine and who goes. So NFL is definitely probably the best league to try to get noticed by somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, but definitely
cool, 7 rounds, undrafted free agency and all that. So
yeah, it's definitely cool. I mean, especially a player that came from my school, so that's pretty big. I mean, I think the only player that came from Montclair, I think I got to do my research, but I think it was Sam Mills. I'm not sure if you heard of him. He played on the
he's on the Saints Panthers.
Saints and Panthers. Yep, he was a small linebacker, and not many people really had faith in him because of his size. But he played with heart. He retired, and then I think he died from was it cancer? I got to look that up, but he passed away.
Sounds right because I remember. Yeah,
he was
some form of cancer or something like that.
Yeah. But it's big, so we're gonna definitely interview him, have him on the show, man. And yeah, it's gonna be a cool experience. So his name for y'all who are viewing it, his name is Brennan Ray. Defensive back, 5-time All Conference. So he's good, man. So But yeah, this will conclude the show. Any final thoughts, Kyle, before we head out?
I mean, it's wild card weekend, which I feel like outside of maybe the opening weekend of March Madness, one of the best sports weekends. I mean, I got up this morning to watch, Manchester United versus Man City, the Manchester Derby. So I've been in sports mode all day. And I think it's going to be some interesting games today. Really looking forward to Jacksonville and the Chargers because I think that could be the most exciting game of this weekend. And then it could also kind of turn into maybe, because of the inexperience on both sides, it could turn into, I don't know, maybe the most turnover filled one. Who knows? But I feel like that's one to watch. And then I kind of just threw the whole Hamlin stuff off the top of my head, but I think that'd be a great moment if he, was named like a team captain for the day, walked out there for the coin toss. I think that'd be a really great way to kind of wrap up the story, because now that he's out of the hospital and everything, it's like to come full circle that way would be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of interesting things. And then to end the week, Cowboys, Bucks, you got the brand of the Cowboys, you got the Tom Brady brand. It's gonna be wild weekend, but I'm ready for it.
Like you said, man, what a whirlwind. I mean, with DeMar, the Monday night game. I mean, what a story, man. It's like the fact that we thought that he might have not have made it. He got CPR, went to the hospital. He's in critical condition for so many days. And then knowing that, hearing constantly signs that, he's has his motor skills working, talking to the doctors, FaceTiming his team. It kind of makes me tear up a little bit. I mean, knowing that, a brother that we got is fighting and is alive and doing good. Yeah, for sure, man. Actually, the Brendan Ray's texting me right now. But yeah, man, it's gonna be cool, man. So, like you said, like what a way DeMar would walk out as a captain with a coin toss, well deserved. I think he has a brand now, 3. I think with the heart thingy, like his brand, his shirt brand. So, yeah, man, I think the way he got cleared and stuff, and he's still part of the team. So I wouldn't imagine them, not having him walk out for a captain for a coin toss. So yeah, man. But like I said, next, not this Tuesday, but next Tuesday, the 24th, because the guest he's gonna be doing games. I think pickup games all week, Monday through Monday. So he's busy all week this week. So the 24th he'll be on. We'll have a chill conversation, cool kickback conversation with him, and you know what I'm saying. So be in tune for that, y'all. And we are out.
Yeah. Wild card weekend. Let's go. I was about to say, I think